poor working conditions, improper staffing, not getting paid enough. Why would I want to keep going to this job? That's exactly what thousands of Kaiser Permanente workers did when they went on strike. So I will give you my take on this healthcare worker strike and look at some of the nuances in between that some of you guys may have overlooked in the headlines. And we're going to kick it off in this episode.
Welcome to the Licensed to Live show, where professionals, doctors, champions, VIPs, attorneys, and those in public office discover strategies that help you restart and gain what is lost when you find yourself accused. If another has doubted your integrity, questioned your credentials, or caused your actions to come under scrutiny, you are in the right place. On the other hand, if you have never felt the knot in the pit of your stomach when legal papers are served, the heartbreak of disappointing your family when the lock clicks shut on handcuffs, or had to appear before a board of review, then be aware, the longer you serve, the more likely you are to find yourself under the microscope of those who judge. Prepare yourself for this uncomfortable possibility. Now, here's your host, Dr. Jarret Patton.
Welcome to episode 176 of Licensed to Live. My name is Dr. Jarret Patton, and I'm your host for our journey together today and every day you choose to listen to this show. If you or anyone you know has been dissed in their career, please invite them to join us along this journey. Just go to your favorite podcast player and hit subscribe to the Licensed to Live show. And while you're there, please rate this episode. Give me some honest feedback so I make sure I continue to provide you with the most up-to-date information about career challenges and life changes. And today, folks, we're talking about it. We're talking about the strike. Kaiser Permanente, people who are nurses and pharmacists and technicians like radiologists, techs, therapists, cleaners, a whole gamut of employees have said, hey, enough is enough. We need some things and we need it now. And they went on strike. So a couple people immediately went to the internet and hit me up and said, hey, what do you think about this strike? Way back in episode 98. Wow, I can't believe it's been that long ago. But yeah, I talked about this and the possibility of this happening in the Great Reawakening episode back around Christmas of 2021. So this is just another one of these things that are disrupting healthcare. But I think these people have some valid points. There are some noticeable absences, and we'll talk about all of this after we finish thanking our sponsors. Hey, this is Dr. Jarret Patton. Do you need more positivity in your life? No matter what part of your life you want to transform, positive affirmations can help you achieve your goals. But sometimes making permanent changes can be difficult. Designed with you in mind, Licensed to Live, daily affirmations to rebuild your life will inspire and equip you to become the best version of yourself. Licensed to Live, daily affirmations to rebuild your life will set you on the path to changing your mindset, beliefs, speech, and ultimately your actions. You can change your life now by getting your copy at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, your finer book retails, or licensedtolive.com. That's licensedtolive.com.
Something smells good. EH3 coffee. EH3 coffee. Premium organic. Nothing better than waking up. EH3 in your cup. Premium organic. EH3 coffee. Nothing better than in the middle of your day. EH3 coffee. Premium organic. EH3 coffee.
EH3 Coffee has been a long-term sponsor of the show. They have simply, they're part of License to Live, the conference. They just want to be a part of everything. And I don't say enough about them as a company. what they do with some of their proceeds as far as charitable contributions, and of course, what they stand behind for their responsibly sourced organic coffee blend. And it is a great way that I love to start my mornings with a cup of EH3 while I'm doing some reading or maybe even meditating. But I encourage you to give it a try today. Make sure you use the code Dr. Jarret when you get your order because you get a discount.
Hey guys, this is Janae Noonan, and I'm here with Dr. Jarret on License to Live. Hit the subscribe, follow the journey. Let's go.
The Great Reawakening episode was one of those that just came at the right time because people were done. They were quitting their jobs. It was the middle of the pandemic. And now that people are reentering and getting back in the workforce and they're getting out there again, after the world opened back up, you see this as one of these things. And this also goes into the inflationary pressures that I talked to you that were coming in one of the previous episodes. And they are coupled with higher prices, people's wages remaining relatively flat, and people are left with not much left over. Many people are working check to check. So this healthcare strike out in Kaiser Permanente and largely in California, but Colorado, they have some in DC and a couple other scatterings across the US. Lots of people just walked out. There were nurses, pharmacists, all types of technicians, and therapists. Even the janitorial staff, they were in on it as well. And they all were asking for a few things. They said, hey, look, the company's making record profits. We are concerned about some of the working conditions and working environments, primarily secondary to staffing levels are at a subadequate level. And oh, by the way, we're not getting paid enough. And people had stories about living in their car, and just couldn't afford to live in some of these cities in which these institutions are, like San Francisco as an example. And so they had a number of things, and they're asking for, maybe I think the minimum wage of $25. And let's look at this. That's not asking for a lot with all of these skilled positions that many of them, the majority of them, need to have, advanced degrees and increasing so as far as some of these groups. And so people are asking, well, where's our share if the company's profiting? And of course, perhaps some of the executives may have bonuses tied to it, but they stand by their side of it. I mean, to tell what they're saying in the reports, they say, hey, look, we have some of the highest wage prices out there. When people leave Kaiser, they're leaving 20% on the table. So, there is some back and forth about all of this. But hey, it brings up a discussion about what is it worth. Now, there were some notable absences in one group. The physicians were not largely in part of this current strike. And you really have to wonder how things would work if they joined in as well. But the organization gets hamstrung either way when you don't have people to do the work from the physician side or from the rest of the healthcare cogwheel line. I mean, that's what it comes down to. But maybe people are recognizing their value and the greater good of advancing healthcare. But these disruptions are going to continue, unfortunately. And, Kaiser is a very large organization, but these things have happened in university hospitals, and small private hospitals have had to work with mass exoduses, not quite to the strike level, but people just said, I've had it. So this overall market is going to change. So I'm going to give some advice to some of those that you out there may be on the picket lines right now, some of those that are thinking about changing their jobs, and to those executives who are left to manage this crisis. And I'll get back to that right after a word from our sponsor.
The time is now to refresh your career. We help doctors, lawyers, executives, and VIPs refresh and restart. Dr. Jarret's coaching helps you build confidence, gain more credibility, develop more leadership skills, and gain clarity in your career path. Want to climb the executive ladder or branch out on your own? We'll put your career in overdrive. Visit drjarret.com and sign up for your free strategy session.
Even if you don't become my client, you end up having a resource for life. I mean, there's something to say that, hey, you can just reach out and send me a message on LinkedIn or shoot me a text, and you know what? I'll probably get back to you. Even if we don't have a formal relationship, but most people come on board and stay on board for many years, in fact, and continuing on to this day. So I'm very fortunate to have a wonderful collection of clients that are out there. I don't say thank you enough to you guys because you're part of the Firestarter movement as well. And it just allows me to see success on such a great level with so many people doing things bigger than themselves and truly living out their dreams. So book an appointment with timewithdrjarret.com. Well, first, I'll talk to all the employees that are in an uproar. I mean, yes, times are definitely hard. The inflation, the Fed interest rate hikes, all of these things are coming to a horrible head, hopefully, that maybe we can get beyond. But this is very tight. It's tight living for a lot of us out there. And people don't understand their overall value to the organization. And sometimes those things are taken for granted on the organizational side, because let's face it, if we were in a society in which everything were free, or we could just, trade something for a handshake, a lot of people probably would not be doing what they're doing right now. But the finances of this entire healthcare industry, and really it's outside of healthcare, but we'll just focus on healthcare because that's largely what we talk about here. But in this healthcare environment, people have to live in cars, people living check to check. There's a certain level of stress. And then when you have to add on the day-to-day work of stress, it becomes extremely challenging. So for all of you guys working hard, very stressed, hey, know your worth. I mean, there could be the perfect job for you just around the corner. You just have to take some time looking. Take some time to take care of yourself and think about when was the last time you went on a vacation or even a staycation. Take some time and ground yourself. Give yourself some time to heal and then even take the time to think about what that future could be. And finally, I'm going to talk about goodwill and spreading cheer to others. Just practice simple acts of kindness every day. And those simple acts of kindness spread and multiply. And it truly makes the world a better place. Now, I know you guys are saying, okay, Pollyanna or pie in the sky. But really, it starts with you. And if you're out there striking now because this is not what you need to do for the rest of your life, then you know what? You know what your worth is. And I hope you get some of those things that you're asking for. Now, on the executive side, strikes tend to be a symptom of a larger problem. And a lot of times it can be communication. So for people who are being challenged with these challenges on the executive side, you have to think about what's happening on the front line. You have to get down there and visit, hear what people are saying, hear what some of the problems are, hear some things that would make their job easier, because there's so many things that can be built-in efficiencies that save the organizational, tens of thousands, if not millions of dollars by implementing small changes. And, when that type of thing happens, the organization gets what they need. They go to greater heights. They ultimately find that path that they're looking for to high quality, high customer satisfaction, and finances that are in the black. And then everybody's happy, but it really takes a team. So if you guys are in an organization that is doing a lot of top down, this is what I say, now do it. Slash this by 5%. Cut this by 15%. Do this by that, by that, by that. If you have any of those things going on, then you got to do more listening. And if you're starting to hear what's going on, some of the solutions may be provided to you, or it may challenge you to think differently, because a lot of times the communication is what is lacking, why there ends up being confusion, and people have the misfortune of misinterpreting their things because they read headlines about corporate greed or record profits or things like that, and they're wondering why their budgets don't even meet every month. How can this be? But people are just asking for more, and these strikes are a symptom of the larger problem in an organization, but it could be in the industry, because trust me, Kaiser, you're not out there alone. You guys are just one of the biggest out there, which made this such a big headline. But this is happening in places all across the country on a smaller scale, and it won't be the last. So you have to see what's going on the front lines and back up from the boardroom and the spreadsheets for a little bit, just to get down to what is the pulse of the current environment and what kind of messages you want to send and receive. Remember, fire starters, if you or anyone you know has been dissed, please invite them to listen to this show. Simply go to your favorite podcast player and hit subscribe to License to Live. And while you're there, please rate this episode and give me honest feedback so I make sure I provide you with the most up-to-date information about career challenges and life changes. And hey, connect with me through Strategy Session or on LinkedIn or any social media at Dr. Jarret. Spell out the word doctor, J-A, 2 R's, E, 1 T, and we will see you next time.
No matter how disheartening the moment of accusation sounds, how deep the pain of immobilization stabs, or how bleak your future looks, no one can take away your license to live. Keep Dr. Jarret's expertise handy and unlock your future. Go to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or another podcast player and subscribe right now to Licensed to Live. See you next time.